The 5 smallest countries in the world and travel in a small area. The Earth is so big, you may have heard of Russia, Canada and the United States, these vast countries. But some countries are not as big as a park, and there are only a few hundred people. However, their per capita income is higher than that of the United States. Some of them are even the most well-off countries in the world. It is even more difficult to join an international company. At the same time, there have been a lot of interesting rumors. Next, let's unlock the 5 most authentic countries on Earth and see how they have survived to this day. Speaking of the smallest country, you may think of Vatican City, which is surrounded by Italy. But there is also San Marino, which is also surrounded by Italy, and ranked 5th. As a country, China, it is located in the eastern half of the Italian Apennines. The whole country is located on Mount Titano. The area of the territory is only 61.2 square kilometers, which is equivalent to the size of more than 8,400 standard football fields. The population is only 330,000. But this small country is the oldest republic in the world. San Marino was founded in 301 BC by a general named Marino. In most of the following time, it has maintained a relatively independent political status. Its republican system has not been terminated for a long time. But the reason why this country can survive to this day is not because of the goodwill of Italy. In the 19th century, during the Italian War of Independence, San Marino took in the fleeing Italian national hero Garibaldi and provided shelter for him. As a return, Garibaldi established a party after the unification of Italy and recognized San Marino's independent status. Today, thanks to its long history and magnificent scenery, San Marino has become a famous tourist destination in the world. According to data from January 5, 2024, San Marino's GDP per capita is $61,492. It can be said that although the country is not big, its GDP per capita is not related to the world. In addition, San Marino is the only country in the world that does not set up traffic lights, and there is little traffic congestion. This is mainly due to its sign. In addition, San Marino's best passport benefits in Europe. People with a passport can sign or land with a record of more than 170 countries and regions. Although San Marino is not a member state of the European Union, it has signed a traffic agreement with Italy, so San Marino citizens have almost the same convenience as EU citizens in the European Union. However, compared with San Marino, which has a GDP of 60,000 per capita, the next country is a bit bitter. Tuvalu is a beautiful coral island country in the South Pacific. The country consists of 9 small coral reefs, with an area of about 26 square kilometers, which is almost a slightly larger village area. The population is only 9,596. Funafuti is not the capital of Tuvalu, but a quieter town. There is no busy traffic here, no skyscrapers, and there is even only one 8-kilometer long highway in the whole country. It is difficult to drive here if you want to speed up, because you may have reached the end of the road before you have time to accelerate. Agriculture mainly relies on planting coconuts, bananas and raising hens, but it is difficult to form a scale. It is difficult to meet domestic food needs, and most of the food depends on import. Industrial development is almost zero, and it is impossible to create more economic value and employment opportunities through industrial production. In 2023, the per capita GDP of Tuvalu was only $5,720. As one of the least developed countries recognized by the United Nations, Tuvalu has received a lot of help from the international community. However, due to the large number of islands, the exclusive economic zone of Tuvalu is as high as 750,000 square kilometers. In theory, it can focus on developing fishery resources, but lacks the ability to develop large-scale fishery. Therefore, issuing fishery licenses to other countries is one of the important sources of income for Tuvalu. In addition, the national fishermen of Tuvalu happen to be giant V, which has become a precious resource in the internet age. The world's major TV stations and media are competing. But behind the beauty of Tuvalu, one of the countries with the lowest sea level in the world, Tuvalu's average sea level is only 2 meters, and it is the first country to be affected by sea level rise. As the global climate warms, the sea level continues to rise, and the seawater is eating up this land day by day. Many caves on the island have been flooded, and the area of residence is getting smaller and smaller. Some residents have to move to New Zealand and other countries to find a new resident. Perhaps in the near future, the ranking of Tuvalu will be closer, surpassing the next country, that is, the smallest island republic in the world, Nauru. Nauru is also located in the South Pacific, and it is only 21 square kilometers. In other words, you can walk around the whole country in half a day. And Nauru is not a formal capital. Government agencies are scattered in an administrative area called Yalua. What is different from Tuvalu is that this small country was once the richest country in the world in the 20th century. But it's not oil, it's not gold, it's bird dung. Thousands of years of bird dung have settled on Nauru's coral island, forming a mineral that contains nitric acid. This nitric acid is a natural high-quality fertilizer. In the 1970s, Nauru became rich due to the export of nitric acid, and the per capita GDP even exceeded that of the United States. At that time, Nauru people lived a luxurious life. Almost every family had a luxury car, and even used airplanes to ship steak. And the government also funded every resident's overseas medical and education. Excessive mining caused Nauru's decline, and the land was excavated to the full. Today, Nauru's bird dung kingdom myth has been destroyed, and the economy is also in trouble. Due to the past rich life, Nauru people have developed extremely lazy eating and living habits. High-fat, high-sugar imported food has become the residents' favorite food, and the traditional fishing and planting activities have gradually been abandoned. Today, Nauru has the highest fattening rate in the world, and more than 90% of the adult population. And the rate of diabetes is also the world's first, from the richest to the weakest economy in the world. Today, Nauru is almost entirely dependent on international aid to maintain national operation. Although the area of Nauru's exclusive economic zone is up to 430,000 square kilometers, it is the same as Tuvalu, and can only be distributed to other countries as a source of income. According to data from the World Bank, Nauru's average expected life expectancy was only 66.4 years in 2021. This number is lower than the global average. And the next is Monaco, which is one of the most populous countries in the world. The area of Monaco is only about 202 square kilometers, but it occupies more than 40,000 people. The high density of the population makes people reluctant to leave. Don't feel sorry for them, because more than 1/3 of the residents here are millionaires. Monaco citizens account for only 20% of the total population. This is due to the high economic development of Monaco. As a tax-free paradise, people here do not receive personal income tax, so it also attracts rich and high-end people from all over the world to settle and invest here. Monaco is surrounded by France, facing the Mediterranean in the south. It is about 5.47 kilometers from the French border. It is less than 16 kilometers from Italy. This geographical location gives it a unique climate and scenery. At the same time, it is also a strategic point where major forces struggle in history. But why such a small country can still survive to this day? In fact, the reason why Monaco was not annexed by France was because it chose to survive. During the 1848 European Revolution, Monaco was unable to regain. In addition, France was a powerful European country, which had absolute geopolitical influence on Monaco. In the midst of internal and external troubles, Prince Charles of Monaco reached an agreement with France in 1861 and officially handed over Montaigne and Le Corbusier to France. From a small country of 20 square kilometers to a small country of 2 square kilometers. In exchange, France paid 4 million francs to Monaco and recognized Monaco's independence. Although it lost these two important agricultural areas, it was a serious blow to Monaco's economy. But in 1863, Charles III founded the Monte Carlo Casino and used the silk industry and tourism industry as a pillar of Monaco's future development. Since then, Monaco has gradually become a gathering place for European nobles and the rich. Its economic model is changing. According to public data, Monaco's annual GDP is more than $200,000. In comparison, in 2023, the US GDP was about $8.17 million, almost 3 times that of the United States. According to data from 2021, the average life expectancy of the population of Monaco was up to 85.9 years old, and the first place was naturally the well-known Vatican. The area of this country is only 0.44 square kilometers. The area of Monaco we just mentioned is about 2 square kilometers, but it is already more than 5 times that of the Vatican. The circumference of the whole Vatican is only 3.2 kilometers. It only takes an hour to walk around. The population of the Vatican is less than 800 people. If everyone in the Vatican is put in an A380, not only can it be full, it can even have a fit. Although the country is completely surrounded by Italy, looking back at history, the Vatican was once part of the Pope. The Pope was a large territory directly ruled by the Roman Catholic Church. Across the Mediterranean of Italy, the area was tens of thousands of square kilometers. However, in the 19th century, Pope Pius IX tried to maintain through the protection of France in order to prevent the unification of Italy. But with the Italian volunteer army occupying Rome, Pope Pius IX had to flee into the Vatican and refused to recognize Italy's rule of Rome. Until 1929, when the two sides reached a compromise, Italy recognized the independent financial compensation, including 7.5 billion lira in cash and 10 billion lira in government bonds. Since then, the Vatican has been a true country to this day. The Pope, as the supreme leader of the Catholic Church, now manages more than 1.2 billion Catholics around the world in the Vatican. However, the area is only 0.44 square kilometers, which means that the Vatican has no agriculture and industry at all. The economy is entirely dependent on religious income and tourism. For example, the Church of St. Peter and the Vatican Museum are designed by Michelangelo and are the pinnacle of architectural history. And the works of Michelangelo in the museum, as well as the Final Judgment, attract millions of tourists every year. Well, that's it for this video. If you like it, don't forget to like it below and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification.